For 4,500 years, the Great Pyramid of Giza has just been there. It's this incredible monument to what humans can do. It's the very last wonder of the ancient world that's still standing, and you know what? It is still holding on to some seriously big secrets.
I mean, for centuries, that has been the ultimate question, right? We all know about the King's Chamber and the Queen's Chamber, but modern science is starting to show us that there's so much more that we just can't see. So let's dive in and take a look at what these new discoveries are really telling us.
And this is what kicked everything into high gear. An international team of scientists announced they'd found something they called the Scan Pyramid's Big Void. We're talking about a massive, completely sealed-off space sitting right above the famous Grand Gallery. And the craziest part, nobody has a clue what it is or why it's there.
Now, to find this, they couldn't just start, digging into the pyramid. The whole mission, which they called Scan Pyramids, was launched specifically to explore the inside of the pyramid without moving a single block. It's kind of like giving this ancient wonder a CT scan.
The tech they're using here is basically straight out of science fiction. Instead of picks and shovels, they're using cosmic rays that travel from deep space to see through solid stone. They're using infrared cameras to spot tiny temperature changes that might hint at a hidden room, and all sorts of advanced radar to map what's hiding behind the walls. This is archaeology for the 21st century, for sure.
So that big void was a total game changer, but it turns out that was really just the beginning. The more these teams scanned, the more the pyramids started to reveal that, well, they're not nearly as solid as they look.
And you can really see the progress here. In 2023, they confirmed a brand new 9-meter-long hidden corridor just behind the main entrance. Then, scans on the smaller Menkaure pyramid nearby turned up 2 more voids. This just adds more fuel to this wild theory that there might be a second, totally undiscovered entrance.
So this brings up a really fascinating question. What if these voids aren't secret tombs or hidden chambers at all? What if they're actually scars? Leftovers from the construction process? What if they're the missing clues to solving the greatest engineering mystery of all time?
For years, the main theory was pretty simple. The Egyptians used a gigantic external ramp to drag the stones up. I mean, you can even see what's left of smaller construction ramps at other places, like this one here at Karnak Temple. But when you try to apply that idea to the Great Pyramid, the math, it just doesn't work.
Just try to picture the scale here. To reach the top of the pyramid, a straight ramp would have to be over a mile long. The amount of material needed to build it and then take it all down would be a project almost as big as building the pyramid itself. And on top of all that, there's absolutely zero archaeological proof that a ramp that huge ever existed at Giza.
Okay, so what about a ramp that spirals around the outside? That seems pretty clever, right? But this idea has a huge, fatal flaw, too. A ramp like that would have covered up all the corners of the pyramid, making it totally impossible for the builders to keep their sight lines straight and make all the sides meet at a perfect point at the top.
And all of this brings us to a radical, but honestly really elegant new idea. What if the main ramp wasn't on the outside of the pyramid at all? What if they built it on the inside?
And believe it or not, the very first hint of this came decades ago. Back in 1986, a survey produced this image showing this strange spiral-shaped pattern of lower-density material inside the pyramid. Back then, they really didn't know what to make of it.
Then along came a French architect named Jean-Pierre Houdin. He proposed that after building the bottom third of the pyramid with a short external ramp, the ancient Egyptians built the rest of it from the inside out. They used an internal, spiraling ramp to haul up the blocks. And those low-density areas from that old scan, well, according to Houdin, that's the ramp.
This theory also gives a brilliant purpose to the incredible Grand Gallery. Instead of just being some fancy hallway, Houdin says it was actually a key piece of machinery. He thinks it was a channel for a massive counterweight on a trolley, used to help haul the heaviest granite beams up that first, external ramp.
But this theory, as elegant as it is, has become the center of a huge controversy. And the stakes here aren't just academic, they're deeply personal, and they involve one of the biggest names in the world of Egyptology.
So the physical evidence really boils down to this one specific spot. At the very top of the Grand Gallery, there's a big block they call the Great Step. And historical records show it used to have this very distinct V-shaped notch cut right into its surface.
To Houdin, that notch was the smoking gun, a purpose-built channel for the rope of that counterweight system. But Zahi Hawass, Egypt's former and most famous head of antiquities, he believed it was just damage, and years ago, he had it filled with cement, maybe altering this piece of history forever.
And this is where the stakes get just incredibly high. Because if Houghton is right about this, then a key piece of evidence explaining how the Great Pyramid was actually built has been permanently erased. The professional and historical implications of that are just immense.
The new discoveries from scanned pyramids, like the Big Void, might actually give us a new way to test some of these ideas. But for now, the debate is raging. Because, as we're learning, the pyramid is not done talking yet.
And it's not just about these huge airplane-sized voids. As we start to look closer, we're finding smaller but just as tantalizing puzzles, hidden away in places no human has set foot in for thousands of years.
Check this out. A tiny robot named Jetty was sent up one of those mysterious narrow shafts that leads from the Queen's chamber. After traveling 60 meters up, it was stopped dead by this: a sealed limestone door with two very strange copper fittings. No one has seen what's behind it.
So, from voids the size of an airplane to these tiny sealed doors, the Great Pyramid keeps reminding us that some secrets are just built to last. The real question is, after all this time, are we finally on the verge of being able to hear them?